Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Kavita. In this video, I'm going to show you step by step how to create a Langgraph React agent using Azure OpenAI and how to add custom tools to it. So let's understand what exactly is React agent and why do we need React agent. So React agent is nothing but reasoning and acting. So the agent thinks through the problem using the LLM model, which is a GPT. It breaks down the user question into logical steps and then it calls the tools. Not tools are nothing but functions or external APIs or any calculations which we have given to it to perform actions like searching, computing, or retrieving the data. So today we'll build a simple React agent that can do basic math using tools like addition and multiplication. So before building, let's understand our scenario with the help of this diagram. So we'll have a user where the user will ask the question. So that question will be passed to our React agent. So the React agent will start thinking to how to resolve to fulfill the user's request. So based on the user query, and this is a reasoning phase, and then it start after thinking it acts, which is nothing but tool calling. So it decides based upon the user's request which tool to call. If you have multiple, which tool to call the first, and then that's it, yeah, which tool to call. And then using that tool, it solves the user's request, which is the work which we have given to that React agent. So it will get the results from the tool. So those results, our React agent will understand by analyzing the user's question. So and then it formats in a way to provide a direct answer to that question. For example, like in a natural language response. So that final natural language response will be provided back to our user. So this is our uh, simple React agent. So how it works and all. So let's start building this agent. So let me go through the Visual Studio. So here I'm using the Azure OpenAI as my LLM model, and coming to the GPT model, I'm using GPT-4o. So I'll just give you the overview of my folder structure. I have created a folder, Langgraph agents. In that, I have just created my virtual environment. And then you have to create a .env. So I'll just show you my .env sample because I don't want to disclose my API keys and endpoint name. So make sure you just create a .env like this. So as I said, I'm using Azure OpenAI. So I'll have my Azure OpenAI endpoint, API key, API version, deployment name, and the model name. So this differs with whichever model you are using as an LLM. So then we have to create a main.py, and in this main.py, our main logic of creating the agent invoking and all that stuff will be there. And then we have to maintain, it's a good practice to maintain a requirements.txt file. So here I already installed it, so I just have a requirements.txt, so I'll just not install it. So these are the libraries we'll be using to create our React agent. So let's start with our main.py. So let's import the necessary folders from Langgraph and LangChain. So let's start from Langgraph. Let me import the create React agent first. It's from the rebuild. We just need to type it. No worries. Then we'll import from LangChain our OpenAI, chat OpenAI. As I'm using the Azure OpenAI, I'll just import my Azure chat OpenAI from LangChain. Chain, we need the tools. So import.tools, import tool. These are the libraries we needed. Then we'll set up our LLM. So set up LLM, which is nothing but my Azure OpenAI model. So LLM equal to, as I have imported the Azure chat OpenAI, so it has the parameters was OpenAI key, OpenAI API key, so these keys and everything will be having in our .env. So make sure you give this parameter name same which you have defined in your .env. So I just copy from os.getEnv. Have to import os, and then to load our environment variables from .env. From .env, let's import load env and let's use that function to call it. Okay, so Azure OpenAI API key .env. Make sure you copy this parameter name from your .env, and then next we need Azure endpoint. Again from os.getEnv, endpoint name is Azure OpenAI endpoint. So make sure you just give the same parameter name which you have defined in your .env. So make sure I'm just copying paste from it. And then deployment name. Same. From getEnv. Deployment name. Let me copy this one. And then we have to give our OpenAI API version. Get env version. So the last parameter will be the creativeness of our agent is nothing but temperature parameter. So for now we'll just set it to 0 as we don't need any creativity in our scenario. So this is how we set up our LLM. Then we just need to define the tools. So coming to the tools, we just have to define @tool. So to make sure our agent understand, so this below the definition is a tool. So we just have to define it like this. So let's start my tool addition. So def add, it takes two parameters. I've typed int The return type will be obviously int. Let's give a comment to the which adds two numbers. So it returns a plus b. So that's it. This is how we define our tool. Next, we'll define another tool, multiplication. So at the rate tool, make sure our agent understand this is multiply tool. We just have to define it like this. Multiply tool name and then our actual tool function. So multiply, again it takes two parameters of data type int a and b. This also returns the int data type. Let me add a comment to this. Oh, I think I pressed something. Yeah, so multiplies two numbers. So it returns a into b. So easy, right? So this is how we actually define our tools to give it, to pass it to the agent to use it. Next, we need to create a ReAct agent. So creating agent, let's see how we can do. So first we need to give the tools for it to use. So tools, we have defined two tools, add and multiply, our tool name. So just pass it in tools, then so agent equal to create ReAct agent, so which we have imported from the Langgraph. So it takes two parameters, model, which is our LLM. So I just have defined it here, right? My Azure OpenAI as LLM. So I'm just passing it over here, model as LLM, and then tools, our two tools, add and multiply. So I'm storing in tools. So I'll just pass it over here. So simple. This is how we create a ReAct agent. Very easy. So next we have to invoke our agent, actually make it work. So let's write code. How do we invoke the agent? So we'll get the response. So response equal to agent dot invoke. So this is how we invoke the agent. So it takes parameter messages, which are nothing but our AI messages. So the AI message will contain the whole reasoning and thinking of our ReAct agent. So how it after receiving the user question, how it thinks, how it processes, and then which tool it calls. So all that information will have in that AI messages. So in that only we will get our final response. So in the AI messages, we just need to pass role and content. So our role, user, and we have the content, which is our question, user's question, to give it to the agent. So let's ask what is 3 plus 5 and 4 into 7? A simple one. Let's see how it works for this question. So this is how we invoke the agent. So after invoking the agent, we need to see the response. So what it actually generated as a result to that user question. So for that we need to get it from the AI messages. So let me write the for loop for it. So for messages, in response of messages, we just have to print the, okay, let's see the entire AI message. So messages dot content. So in this print statement, messages dot content will get the whole AI message. So we are interested to see only the final result, right? So only the result, which is nothing but the final response. So let's print that also. For that, to differentiate, I'll just add a line, empty line, and then we need to come out of that loop. We just need to print the final response, which is our last AI message. So response of messages -1. So our interest is only on the last message, so I'm just writing -1 from content dot content. So this print statement will give the final answer to that user question, which is our final response. So let's check it how it works. So let me run this python main.py to see how a React agent works. No modeling, LangChain, openai. From LangChain, openai, import azure chat openai. Okay. I just have a spelling mistake here. LangChain LLMs. Okay. Let me save it. Let me run it again. Attribute str object has no attribute content. Need to check. Okay. Response of messages, the last message -1. Oh, I just did not close here. Yeah, we just need to, yeah. So from messages, the last message dot content. Let me just run it again. It will be working now. Yeah. So let's see the first print message, which is the whole AI message. So first it returned the user question. So what is 3 plus 5 and 4 into 7? Then it solved 8. That is the first part of the question. And then it solved 28, which is the second part of the user question. Good. So, and this is the result after calling the tool. So see, it actually formatted in a natural language, so which is to provide the answer to that user question. The result of 3 plus 5 is 8 and the result of 4 times 7 is 28, which is good. So as I said, our interest will be on the final response, which is the last AI message. So we have, which is our second print statement. So we just need to print the last one. So this is how it works. So easy, right? So let's test it, how it calls the tools by asking us different question to little complex. So let me write, what is, let me try it in a bracket, 3 plus 5 into 7. let's see how it works. So to solve this one, it need to first resolve inside the bracket, whatever it is there in the brackets, and then that result it need to multiply with the 7. So let's see how it actually calls the tools, how it works. For this question, let me run it again. Yeah. Let's see the whole AI message. So what is user question? Yeah, so it actually solved the bracket ones. So 3 plus 5, 8, and then 56. Yeah, so that result it multiplied with the second part of that into 7, which is 56. So which is our final response is the result of 3 plus 5 times 7 is 56. So this is a React agent inbuilt architecture, and how it actually calls the tools depends on the user question. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you.